In this lesson class, we're going to take a look at compound interest. Compound interest, there's two formulas. This is the regular compounded interest, and then we'll have another continuously compounded interest formula we'll see in another slide here. As you're looking at this, the A of t stands for amount in time, amount after a time of years, okay? And P is your principal, stands for principal, the dollars deposited. The one's always there. The R is your interest rate, not as a percent. If you have a percent like 5%, okay, something like that, you need to actually rewrite it to 0.05. Okay, so it's got to be written as a rate. And then N is your number of times you're compounding per year, and then your T is time in years. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. You're taking $1,000 and you're going to deposit it into an account that's paying 4% interest per year, compounded quarterly. I don't know where you're finding something that's just a regular savings account, but 4% interest, good luck getting that. That's sad that we can't find that anywhere. But anyway, side note. Let's get us $1,000 is our P, so then we times it by, so let me write the formula again. It's P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. Okay, so we plug in our P is the 1,000, then it's 1 plus my rate is 4%, but I need to make it an actual rate, so I need to make it 0.04. So I put 0.04 divided by N. It's compounded quarterly, which means it's happening 4 times a year. So that's 4 times a year, so I put a 4 down as my N. And I put it up in the upper N also, 4. And then for how many years? Well, it says you're doing it for 2 years. Okay, we'll come back and do this again annually. Just hang on to that in a minute. But find the amount after 2 years. So that means the first time we're doing it for 2 years. Okay, so now we go ahead and take this and plug it all into our calculator. If you're plugging into your calculator, you can do this all at once as long as you use parentheses here, and then also you need to add some little parentheses right there. Okay, and then finally, actually, one more place where you need parentheses is if you're punching in your calculator, you need to put a little up arrow right here and then put this guy in parentheses, or just make it an 8, either way. So if I was to plug it straight away into my calculator, I would put 1,000 parentheses 1 plus parentheses again 0.04 divided by 4, close parentheses, close them again, and then to the, so little caret guy, and then 4 times 2. And that would give you the answer that you're looking for, which is 1082.86 if you round up. Okay, so the next question is so that was the amount, by the way. The next question is how much interest was earned. Well, if I end up with 1,082 and I started with 1,000, that means I ended up earning $82.86 after leaving it in my bank account for 2 years. Okay, so that's the first problem, and those are the first 2 answers. But then it says to do this again annually. Well, to do this annually, all that changes is, and by annually I mean how many you're compounding, the only thing that changes is the 4, instead of being a 4, turns into a 1. Okay, so it turns into a 1 here, here, and then down here this 4 should be a 1 right there, and then right here. So it does change a little bit when I plug in my calculator, and you should end up with 1,081.6. So not much difference, only like $1 difference, but it does make a little bit of difference, right? Every little penny counts when you're waiting for your savings to grow. So let's try this other formula, which is the continuously compounded interest. So we've got, by the way, some other options that you might see are how many times they compound it. If it's quarterly, this is 4 times. They might say semi-annually. Okay, we're 2 times. If you say bi, that also means 2. Okay, you just go with your prefixes and look them up, and it'll tell you how many times that is per year. Anyway, so now continuously, you can actually have interest compounded continuously, and if that's the case, we actually need to use this formula here. And this formula actually has an E in it. And thankfully we've learned a little bit about E, so now we can use that. So we're putting the same $1,000 in at 4% interest, and we just have to plug it in. So this is A equals, I say PERT just to memorize it quickly, but it's P times E to the RT power. So I put in my 1,000, and then times e to the rate is not 4%. You got to say 0.04 times your t. Here it says 2 years, so you just punch a 2 in there. Now you go ahead and type it in your calculator. So on your calculator, you should put 1,000, and then it's probably the second ln button. So 2 separate buttons to push, and then go ahead and push your second ln, and then it opens parentheses for you, which in it then you put your 0.04, and then times 2. So you just put times 2 in there, close parentheses, and push enter, and you should get your 1,083. And that you could round it to 0.29. So basically you get another $1 of interest if you're compounding continuously versus compounding quarterly. Now this is only after 2 years. If you did this after like 10 years, the difference between this problem and this problem would be very, very different. But that's okay. So this is how you use PERT. I hope that makes sense for you, and good luck in your homework. Again, continue to email me if you have any questions.